Assalamualaikum. My name is Ahmad Ahmad. Uh, Today I will present a group presentation for MGM4105 Group 2 for Business Management and Research Method. So this is data analysis. The topic that we choose is absenteeism at work. So next slide. So this is our group members. So for intro, what is actually employee absenteeism? Is actually employee being absent from work or not being present during their scheduled work hours. So this is fact. In 2022, the average was 1.58 million per month and total of 19 million absence per year. So you can see a pattern each year. So our group choose absenteeism at work data from July 2007 to July 2010 at a courier company in Brazil to do the data analysis. So this is variables that our data have. So first is distance from work to home, kilometers. Second is age, and third is age group, and fourth is mean number of children. 5 is body mass index, and lastly, absenteeism times in hours. So this might be variable that might affect the employee absenteeism. So I will pass to the next presenter.
Hi, Assalamualaikum Doctor. I'm MD FARLISA. So I will continue this presentation with literature review. So the first one is theory of absenteeism, which is absenteeism is defined as a temporary absence from work for reasons such as illness, death in the family, or other personal issues. It is also defined as an employee's intentional or habitual absence from work. Second is the factor of absenteeism, which is distance from home to work in kilometers. Lugano 2011 find that commuting distance induces absenteeism, which they interpret as shrinking behavior by employees. According to Gorke and Lawrence 2017, they showed that employees who commute middle distance or long distance that more than 50 kilometers are absent more often than comparable employees who do not commute or who travel shorter distance. Second factor is age and age group, which is according to Matokyo 1989. The rationale for this has been attributed to greater job commitment amongst older employees. Seal 2002 and Voss et al. 2001 found that the shorter periods of sick leave are more common among younger employees, probably because older employees usually take up higher responsibility at work and will not request sick leave for minor illnesses. And then the third factor is son, represent the number of children an employee has. Parenthood responsibilities can impact absenteeism as employees may need time for their children, childcare duties, medical appointments, or family emergencies. And then next is body mass index. There seems to be a consistent link between increased BMI and absenteeism, even though overweight has not been found to have a strong association with absence of medical costs. Jens et al. 2007 stated that obese workers had at least 14 more days of absenteeism when compared to workers with normal BMI. And lastly is absenteeism time in hours, which the duration of absenteeism in hours can differ based on factors such as whether it is a complete day off, a partial absence within a day, or multiple instances of absence over a specific time frame. And it enables organization to quantitatively assess the actual amount of time lost due to employee absence, thereby providing a means to track the impact on productivity and staffing accurately. So that's all from my part.
Next, I'll be explaining the methodology. First, in the research design, the type of research that we chose in the study is descriptive research, as it is used to describe the characteristics of a population. This study has conducted the quantitative method because it used the past research and it involves collecting and analyzing numerical data. Second, we'll move to sample size. There is 737 of total respondents in this data. Records of employee absence from a Brazilian courier company from July 2007 to July 2010 were used to generate the database. Third, the sampling technique. Certified sampling technique was used in this research as it involves the division of a population into smaller subgroups which cause strata, which is based on specific characteristics. For example, age and body mass index. Last but not least, the data collection method. The method used to collect data is from database. As for data analysis, we use SPSS software to carry out different types of analysis, which includes descriptive analysis, normality test, correlation analysis, and regression analysis. SPSS is capable of handling sizable sets of variable data formats, and it intends to access particular social science-related data. According to Kumar, Amuda, and Sabapati 2020, SPSS is appropriate for high-quality and accurate decision-making.
Next, we will move to the data cleaning part. Data cleaning is important to do to remove irrelevant values, delete duplicate values, avoid typos and similar mistakes, and also take care of missing values. The dirty data needs to be cleaned as dirty data waste resources. Reduced productivity leads to failed internal and external communication and waste marketing budgets. In this project, we found two variables of missing data, which are the BMI and absenteeism data, which both missing 3 data values. For BMI, all of this missing data will replace with 26.6 as this method use mean to fill the missing value. Next, for the absenteeism data, there are 3 missing values too, and all of these missing data will replace with 7 as same as the previous method, which implies me to fill the missing value.
Descriptive statistic. So what is actually descriptive statistic? It can help describe and understand the features of specific data by giving short and summaries about the sample data that we get. So then we can provide a foundation for decision making, and it can enable comparison between different group of variables. And lastly, we can identify any outlines or pattern that may require further investigation. Next slide. So this is how we get the data to do the descriptive analysis. First, we are using SPSS. We use analyze, and then we put descriptive statistic, and we specialize to descriptive. Then this is data that we get. We can know the minimum, maximum, mean, and standard deviation. For example, for the first distance, the number of data is 737. So the minimum is 5 and the maximum is 52, and it calculates also mean. The mean is 29.62 and the standard deviation is 14.844. So the result is absenteeism time in hour. So minimum is 0, and the maximum is 120. So the mean is 6.98 and the standard deviation is 13.348. So next, we also have descriptive statistic in frequency. So how we do is in the above tools, we use analyze and we use descriptive statistic, but we change to frequencies. So we also can get a frequency for distance here. It's more specific in the frequency. We can know the percent, the valid percent, and the cumulative percent. So this is the result. We can also make a rough budget, which is this is the result for mean 29.62 and the standard deviation is 14.844, and the total number of the data is 737.
Now, I will explain about the normality test of our data. A normality test is used to determine whether sample data has been drawn from a distributed population. The normality test is an important step for deciding the measures of central tendency and statistical methods for data analysis. If the data is normal distribution, parametric tests or otherwise non-parametric methods are used to compare the groups. Next, there are many assumptions to test a normality analysis. Firstly, we choose Kolmogorov-Smirnov. The result of this test concludes that our data are not normally distributed, since the p-value or known as significance is less than 0.05. For normally distributed, the p-value must be greater than 0.05. Next, we'll move to the skewness and kurtosis. For normally distributed, the skewness and kurtosis must be in between +1 to -1. Since skewness and kurtosis for variable absenteeism at work is more than 1, it's concluded that our data is not normally distributed. Other than that, the bell-shaped curve. This bell-shaped curve shows the normally distributed if it has symmetrical curve. Here it's shown that the bell shape for variable sun, absenteeism at work are not symmetric. Hence, our data are not distributed. Thank you. That's all for me.
Hello, hi, Assalamualaikum. I am Ahmad Zakwan. So I will explain about the correlation analysis for this analysis. So first, correlation analysis, it helps to get information between variable X, the independent variable, and variable Y, the dependent variable, or between both variables. In this case, the variable X is the distance, sun, and for the variable Y is the absenteeism in hours. So it tests the relationship strength about the correlation between X and Y. It tells us how strongly two variables are related, and it shows us a pattern and trend, and it helps us spot pattern and trends between those variables. And it has predictive ability. It allows us to make prediction based on the relationship between variables. So if variable is near to 0, it have weak or no linear relationship. It have near to 1 or -1, it have strong positive linear relationship and strong negative linear relationship. This is example of the correlation plot graph. You can see the pattern and trend here. If no relationship, it will be like this. So to do correlation analysis, we have to decide to either use the Pearson correlation coefficient or the Spearman-Rao coefficient. So for this analysis, since the data is not follow the normal distribution with the Spearman-Rao coefficient, we must use the right because it gives the different value. So to decide, we must perform a normality test first to decide to use between these two, and this the value of this correlation coefficient. We look here, different value. So for the analysis result for this analysis absenteeism, we just see here if there is two significant star, means the value of significant level for the relationship is very significant. If there is no star, not significant. So the sun is the only significant star, have two star, and it is the only significant. So which means the number of children has a moderate positive correlation with absenteeism time in hours. So sun is the number of children is the only that significant with absenteeism time in hours. This correlate, and there's no significant correlation between absenteeism time in hours and between the others variable like distance, age, or body mass BMI. So in short, having more children is the only factor that seem to be associated with higher absenteeism time. So more children, more time absent. Okay, like that. That's all for me. Thank you.
Hi, I'm SUFI. Now proceed with regression analysis. So for this dataset, we use multiple linear regression because it has one dependent variables and 4 independent variables. So after analyzing the data, we have 3 diagrams. The first one is histogram. So from this histogram, it can be seen that it has bell shape, so it is normally distributed. However, for the normal PP plot of regression, there is a departure from normality. You can see that there's like a curve and the data points are not close at the straight line, so it does not follow normal distribution. And the third is the scatter plot. So the data points come to form a straight line when plotted. So it shows that there are some correlation between the variables, and there are also some outliers in the scatter plot. And let's move to the data analysis. The first one is the multiple correlation coefficient, which is R. So the R value is 0.164. So it shows that it has this model has a weak positive linear relationship. And next is a coefficient of determination, which is the R square. The R square value is 0.027. So it shows that only 2.7% of the variability in absenteeism time can be explained by the combination of the predictors included in the model. And so it means that there may be other factors influencing absenteeism that is not accounted for in this current model. And the third one is the test assumptions, independence of error. So for this, we use the Watson. The value is 1.107. So it is more than 1 and less than 3. So this data is good to do multiple linear regression. And next, we move to the variance regression factor, VIF. So all VIF values of all variables are less than 5.3. So this model has no problem with collinearity. Next is the significance value or p-value. The p-value for this model is 0.001. So this regression model is significant because it is less than 0.05. So it shows that there is a relationship between all the variables. So next, for the p-value for each variables, if the p-value is more than 0.05, so it is considered not significant predictor of absenteeism time in hours. So for each variable, firstly is for distance, the p-value is 0.047. It is less than 0.05. So it is a significant predictor of absenteeism time in hours. And next is age. The p-value is 0.067. It is more than 0.05, so it is not a significant predictor of absenteeism time in hours, but it is close enough to 0.05. And next is BMI. It is far from the p-value is 0.164. So it is far greater than 0.05. So it is definitely not a significant predictor of absenteeism time in hours. And lastly is son or number of children. The p-value is 0.006. It is less than 0.05. So it is a significant predictor of absenteeism time in hours. So to conclude, this analysis reveals that among the variables examined, the number of children or the son has a moderate positive correlation with absenteeism time in hours, indicating that individuals with more children tend to have a higher absenteeism according to the correlation analysis. And furthermore, in the regression analysis, distance from work and the number of children or son are identified as significant predictors of absenteeism in time in hours, while age and body mass index BMI does not demonstrate any significant relationship. So in summary, having more children and a greater distance from work associated with increased absenteeism time in hours, while age and BMI do not appear to play a significant role in predicting absenteeism time. So that is all from us. Thank you.